Hey everybody, it's time to talk about Kagero and Shadow Paladins today on Damage Check.
Boom, my favorites.
It's about that time. Everybody, welcome to Damage Check, your source for everything Vanguard related, bringing you the news, spoilers, everything and the like. I'm joined with the Doombringer, Allbringers, the Ryan Griffin.
See you in Atlanta, bitches.
Ooh, straight called you a fool. Alright, no. This is probably going up because we're recording it the Friday. There wasn't any Damage Check that week because we're retired from our live stream, his Valentine's Day, woohoo, and everything like that. So,
someone on this team has to have a girlfriend.
So, I had one once. Anyways, it's okay. I got plenty of Vanguard to keep me happy and surviving. We have 2 weeks worth of spoilers to go over, so let's get started with that. Starting with the spoiler reel, we always go over.
Wait, is this time for Spectral Duke?
Not a called Paladin, though, but will live.
Remember how I said that Spectral Duke was made to fix Shadow Paladins? Well, why the hell wouldn't you just put it back in Shadow Paladins? Like, come on!
He's not wrong. So we got Dark Dragon, Spectral, Blaster, Diablo. He's got that blaster.
Read me that skill. Read me that skill.
Alright, so, skill. Stride, obviously. Next. First skill is Act. First return, Soul Blast. Choose a face down in the G zone. Flip it face up. Not a persona. Just any card in the G zone.
I'm liking this trend to flip up anything.
I'm also liking that trend. Makes it a little cheaper. And then choose a unit choose one of your rear guards and retire it. That gives it until the end of turn. This card gets auto Vanguard. Once per turn, Generation Break 3.
Ooh.
Counterblast 2. Choose 2 of your rear guards. Retire them. At the end of the battle, if this unit attacked the Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, stand this unit, and this unit gets drive -2 until the end of turn. And this is the important part that lets it combo with a lot of new stuff. And if you have a heart card with Diablo in its card name, you can search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 card, call it to rear guard, shuffle your deck.
So what you're saying, Jose, is we were right.
Correction.
It was
Jose was right.
Jose was right. I predicted this too.
I predicted it first.
Incorrect.
Correctable.
We discussed
I said it was an homage. It would swing and then -2, swing again.
We both said this. That would have the same effect as old Spectral Duke, but it would be a stride. The fact that it now calls a grade 1 also makes it better.
I like the grade 1 call. Well, granted, that's only a Diablo heart skill.
Oh no!
This with Vortex could get devastating. Straight brutal. We're talking straight brutal. Now, me and Brax and Nate were talking about where this belongs in Revengers. We're saying it's a 1-of in Revengers.
You can flip over anything.
You can flip over anything. Run one of this, one of Grim Recorder. Wherever you're feeling, you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like having an extra restander in your life. Just have a conversation with Kagero.
Oh yeah, we used Abyss already? Here you go. Enjoy your.
And another thing I like about this card is that it does really give a strong boost to new shadows, which
I'm a fan of. This is a triple R, right?
It is a triple R.
Congratulations, you only need 1 of this to make it work.
Exactly. You only need 1, at most really 2. You can run
even that.
In new shadows, you run 2 of this, 2 Urgeyser, 4 Diablo, and you're ready. You're ready for prime time.
We live in.
So I definitely like this card. I think this card is universally accepted as a good stride and a good homage. It's definitely.
I'm happy with this effect, as I said I would be if it was an homage to Spectral Duke. I'd say, oh, you get the 3 and then the 1. Yeah, that's a perfect homage to Spectral Duke. That's what this card was all about. If you're unhappy with that, well, at least it's not something that was a new card and was bad.
Precisely. Now, moving on, there's a bunch of blaster support that came out for Shadow Paladins, which we're not going to go into big detail.
Hey, I actually read these.
It's time to get that Gust Blaster Dragon Shadow Paladin card.
What's that? These are no longer $1? Oh, I'm so sorry, your bank account.
But moving on behind that, continuing onwards. Now, we talked about favorite disciple, Light and Darkness Lu, last time on Damage Check.
Yeah, we did.
We went a long distance about, Grand Legion, which ended up being fake from what I've heard, which is depressing.
And then I thought my predictions would have actually been, would have actually mattered at some point. But no, Grand Legion doesn't exist. It's all Stride all the time in the New Fighters collection, too.
But it's still MLB support, which is interesting. So maybe Turbo...
It's much less interesting, if you ask me.
Not wrong. Maybe Turbo MLB might actually become a deck one day.
We can check it out.
But in the news of that vein, we already talked about favorite disciple of Light and Darkness Lu. But we finally got the skills for Blaster Friend Barkle.
Ooh.
And Floral Paladin Flogal.
Has he risen from Valhalla once more to join the fray?
Flogal has risen from stand to crit.
Hey, the true upgrade.
And Barkle is now
Go watch my triggers video if you want to see why stand triggers are bad.
Except for in Vanguard.
Except for in Vanguard.
And Jewel Knights.
And Jewel Knights.
So, Blaster Friend Barkle is essentially a Dorant clone for Blaster Blade. Basically, the skill is when a unit named Blaster Blade is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard in the same column as this unit, you may, if you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, countercharge 1. Same thing.
Okay. You know what? I'm totally fine with this because, why shouldn't Royal Paladins have the same thing Shadow Paladins have?
And Gold Paladins have the same too, with Blaster Blade Liberator.
Mm-hmm.
So, all the Blasters should get this kind of grade 1.
I'm down with this.
Good.
This is fair.
And you get to abuse the double. If you call 2 of these and then call over it, you get the jank rule with your unflip 2 and so on and so forth. Now, Floral Paladin Flogal, as a critical trigger, auto rearguard, counterblast 1 at the end of the battle. If this unit, your unit named Blaster Blade attacked a Vanguard, you may pay the cost if you do. Choose up to one of your units named Blaster Blade on rearguard, stand it, and then return this card back to the deck.
I really feel like the shift to putting a lot of power on triggers that go back into the deck has really made it's kind of like a make or break situation for archetypes now.
It really is.
Like the Blue Wave trigger, the Mega Colony trigger,
the Jewel Knight trigger.
The Jewel Knight trigger. They're all just getting so ridiculous that you realize that it doesn't matter how good the Stride or the Triple R is. If the trigger is doing, half of your mechanic for you, like, would Tetra Boil be anything without being able to put 2 Blue Wave triggers back on the deck and drawing 3 cards to swing? Of course not. Be so much weaker. But now there's just sticking power on the triggers, and you realize that, people are going off on, this starter is so broken, this trigger is so broken. Well, that's great. So now the triple R's aren't, so much more money, I guess.
It helps reduce the value of the triple R's. Now the triple R's don't have to be as powerful as they had to be in the past because power is dispersed amongst the cards in the pool, which I think is interesting from an economic perspective. Also, what's important is to remember that these 2 cards directly combo with Lu, because Lu calls a Blaster Blade and gives it 3k. So this Blaster Blade is now 11. So even if it stands alone in the battlefield, it still can swing at most Vanguards, assuming they didn't hit the trigger, and hit Rearguards. So, that's not bad. It leaves the same. Interesting MLB support to get randomly in a set. Not upset with it. Now we're moving on to the Novas in the field. Novas get some interesting stuff. They get a Sentinel, a new Sentinel, and they get a grade 2. Which
and
is
a Legion.
And a Legion. We're not going to talk about the Risers.
We're not going to talk about the Risers, because it was not better than Dual Flare.
It's not better than Dual Flare. Well, the Legions, with the grade 3 isn't better than the Mega Flare.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing but disappointment there. So, let's start with Extreme Battle, Gachibattle. It is a Sentinel. It has got the skill of unflip PGs, which means it can only guard the Vanguard, which is sad, but it makes up for it. So it's a PG, protects the Vanguard. Secondary skill, Auto, Generation Break 1. When this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, if there's a copy of it in the drop zone, choose one of your rear guards. And until the end of turn, it gets the skill, Auto, Rear Guard, Counterblast 1. At the beginning of the guard step of a battle that your Vanguard is attacked, you may pay the cost. If you do, move that unit into the Guardian Circle as rest, and this unit gets shield plus 10k until the end of battle.
Oh, okay.
So basically, you drop this PG, you drop one. If you have an extra in the drop zone, you've just given yourself a 10 to 15k shield on the board. If you pull the trigger by some miracle, you have a 5 to 20k shield on the board.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be an intercept either.
It doesn't have to be an intercept. It doesn't have to be a grade 2. Because the skill lets it go into the Guardian
Or
Circle.
if it's random broken triggers that, happen to do things while on the board, or when they, if there's some trigger that, combos with the Sentinel, well, congratulations, you have a new, one of the best combos in Vanguard, it sounds like.
Exactly. It's just... We spent a while talking about how Vanguard was increasing its offensive mechanic while not increasing its defensive mechanics. And this is a card that actually is a step in the perfect direction of increasing a defensive mechanic where it says, okay, not only do you get a null attack here, but you get some help across the board.
I mean, the defensive space for Vanguard is honestly wide open. There are very few cards that step into that space at all.
Exactly. There's like Garant, which is the Gold Paladin that was disappointing. There was even more disappointing Murakumos that tried to drop your opponent's... Yeah, there was the
any of the cross rides, which did a marginal job.
Mandala Lord,
or Shiryuki.
And then there's a few cards that increase defensive mechanics, and this is one that I greatly am happy for. The Grade 2 Extreme Battle Abarail, Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. When this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Victor in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, until the end of turn, this unit gets plus 2k and auto rear guard once per turn. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, choose it to one of your other rear guards, stand it, that unit gets plus 5k. This can combo hard with some Danza plays.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm all about combo with some Danza.
I'm still kind of... I still laugh at the fact that the best card in Nova Grapplers right now is a common.
Yeah, that's a Danza. So good.
Bushi knew what it was doing, I hope.
And now we're continuing onward. Moving into Grand Blue and Kagero, we've got Ghosty Great King Abadiah.
Woohoo.
Stride Step. This is Grand Blue's Foolish Burial, which I am happy to see happen.
I'm pretty okay with this card. I just wish Grand Blue had some better stuff.
I can also agree with that. So, Ghosty. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, search your deck for up to 3 cards. Put them into the drop zone. Shuffle your deck. If 2 of the cards have the hollow ability or put into the drop zone with this effect, choose up to 1 normal unit with Ghosty in its card name from the drop zone. Call it to rear guard in the same column as this unit. It's not bad.
It gets you a booster at least.
Gets you a Ghosty. I'm all about getting Ghosties.
I mean, why not? I guess.
Casper is real. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
And leading onward, our boy Undu.
We had quite a few Kagero cards come back this week.
Our boy Undu has finally upgraded from Grade 0
to Grade 0.
Grade 0
with an effect.
Grade 0 with nothing to Grade 0 with something.
6k no more.
6k no more. So obviously the starter for the Legend Deck 2 is a Forerunner and is basically a clone copy of the Full Bow from the Legend Deck 1. Except instead of switching a Blaster, this one switches an Overlord. But it is restricted by Generation Break 1.
So we can debate all day long about whether Red Pulse or...
I argue that Red Pulse is better.
I would also argue that just being able to turn on your Calamity Towers earlier and, even though the chance does suck a lot when you miss it, and according to Braxton's statistic, anytime you miss it, you lose 80% of the games or something.
Yeah, fake statistic, but has proven kind of accurate. However, I agree with you. If I have a choice between a card that kind of does what a card does and one has Generation Break 1 and the other one doesn't, I'm going to choose the one that doesn't have Generation Break 1 because it gives me more options. I can deactivate whenever I want. Until
we figure out a way to turn on Generation Break 1 whenever we want.
And we have a Cray Elemental that kind of does that.
But we're not talking about that.
But
the card is just okay. We should probably talk about it.
It's okay. It's okay. I think we did talk about it. So, next is another Legend Deck card. Berserk Lord Dragon. Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1. When your 4th grade or higher Vanguard attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, retire one of your opponent's grade 2 or less vanguards. Or rear guards.
Wow, this just sounds like... This better not be my mana. I better get some better stuff than this.
You got the Hallam. You're
I
kind
did get the Hallam.
of running out of grade 2s to do things.
See, this is just one of the legend deck cards that I'm like, well, you know, we don't run most of the cards that came in the Shadows legend deck. We just took out the good ones. What's the entire point?
We run 4. Draconic Overlord the Legend.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that!
The dream is live!
You get over there! I don't think you understand.
They can't guard with grade zeros! It's a Tom!
It's gotta be for the legend, for the great, assuming the legend is good.
For
we already have Burnout. Burnout is already better than this card. You can't just make worse cards and expect us to play them.
Hey, man.
Unless it becomes G format, in which case I have no choice. Thanks, Bush.
You did your best.
Yeah.
Actually, we're supposed to get a reprint of
Oh, look, it's that card I like.
Yeah. Alright. Everybody save your Dragonoots for no other reason.
Because they're all
Dragonoots has literally spiked in price.
Like the actual Dragonoot?
The actual Perdition Dragonoot.
Why?
I have no reason.
The card is not good anymore.
People are like, this is my Perdition Stride. It doesn't have Perdition in its name.
Yada yada, does it?
So,
let's read the card.
Supreme Heavenly Emperor Dragon Vortex Desire.
Hello.
Good name, I agree. Also important to know that you're going to get 2 of this card. You're going to get 4 of the boss. And 2 promo ace.
Oh wait, I'm entirely okay with this.
Let's do our number on Legend Deck strides. You've got 2, 4, 2. That's 8 freaking strides.
Oops.
So done with you.
Well, when we do our Legend Deck tournament, finally, guess what I'm playing?
Or when we do our Legend Deck Kagura rant about how fucking busted it is.
Well, we haven't seen any busted cards in here yet. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah.
Oh,
shut
up. Tame.
Yeah, wait till you get your freaking Burning Horn clone that says, like, every time you're... Nahalem isn't a bad card. Nahalem is a good card.
Nahalem's not bad. Am I playing in my deck yet? No. We'll see. We'll see.
Anyways, Heavenly Supreme Emperor Dragon, Vortex Dragon. He shouldn't be called Emperor because he's not an Emperor. Stride, obviously. Auto Vanguard. Choose a face-down card with... a G card, turn your face up. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, until the end of battle, this unit gets Auto Vanguard. When this unit attack hits, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards for each Flame Dragon on your Vanguard and retire them. This can easily get to 2 retires to 3 retires, depending on whether or not you're in Legion.
Yeah, that was actually a ruling that I had a question about.
Yeah.
So if you are in Legion, it technically does count as both are your hearts. And so if you do have 2 Flame Dragons, which every Kagura Legion is a Flame Dragon, then you can have 3 retires with this.
Precisely. This is the same kind of combo as the Blue Flame Grade 2 from Fighters Collection 2. A lot of the Grade 2s from the new Fighters Collection said that you get a certain skill for each of your X. If there are 2... blanks in your Vanguard circle, which means basically it's either in Stride or it's in Legion. So that's basically what it means. So you get at least 2 to 3 retires, assuming this dude hits. Some people are saying, now we can talk all day whether this is better or not than Mustafa. I honestly say it pulls out more pressure than Mustafa does. Which is what I want out of my first Stride.
Especially in the current meta where it doesn't super matter if you kill one dude.
Honestly, and you could say, but yeah, but what if your opponent doesn't have that many rear guards? Then it really doesn't matter which one you stride first. It really becomes a debate on if your guy has a board and which one do you want to stride first.
Well, I need to open up my ace then to murder him, right?
Exactly. Which both open up your ace because they're both flips.
That's true.
But I'd rather take the guy that pushes the most cards out of hand, so when the next turn I do ace, he doesn't have a hand to guard with. That's my theory, but I'm not the main card girl player you are. So that's my thoughts on the subject. Ending that is all our spoilers in terms of main cards we're going to talk about. Because set 6 is out in Japan.
We got the full
and
list.
Singapore. We got the full list. There are some interesting new things. There is a crit for stand for Shadow Paladins that's basically a David and Sharon clone that can sack for 2 and go back into the deck, which is interesting.
Will you play it? Probably not.
Instead of draws, maybe.
Maybe.
Because the fact that you call this dude, you can sack it for 2 dudes, and it goes back into the deck. It's not terrible. There's some other cool stuff that's interesting. Nothing of note. Basically, set 6 is a little disappointing in my opinion. A lot of people are like, oh, the Outlaws so good. It's not. It's not Vanguard. It's not Jewel Knights. It's still just... And at the end of the day, you can run all the Outlaw stuff you want, but if you only have 4 grade 3s that have Outlaw in their name, that means only 50% of the time you're going to be able to use this. Worlds don't have a grade 3 searcher.
And we've been in that stage before where only so much of your deck works if you have the right grade 3. We're done with that. We're so done with where that works out.
Exactly. I'd rather run my...
I was set 6 gold paladins back then when we had to like, oh, my deck only works if I have the right grade 3, and if I'm on my support Gigantech Destroyer, I lose. No, we're done with those days. Now you can have, they print other things in case you need the name.
Right.
Like guarantee.
Exactly.
Strictly worse, but you still at least get to do the thing you want.
I get to do the thing. And we were playtesting for Atlanta, and you saw, I still read guarantee, and I still did the thing. I didn't care if it was 10k base. I still did the thing.
When you need names, you get printed names, because Bushiroad sometimes cares about us.
So, that's it for spoilers. Moving on to the next topic. Is basically where I think the future of Team League is going, in my opinion. And that's a Team Absolution prediction. I will buy Ryan a pizza if this doesn't happen.
You already owe me a steak dinner. I'm not taking a pizza. Where are you going?
I'll get you a steak pizza.
Steak pizza. Don't try to back out on me now.
Nah, I'm going to buy you the pizza. Though, I will say right here and now, the next bet is get me the next stage.
I will get you that next
It's
stage.
not gonna happen.
Give me 10 minutes.
It's not
10
Keep dreaming,
minutes.
Bro. Anyways.
6 minutes. I'm beginning to feel like a Hugh God.
Anyways, so the future of Team League will probably be what we're about to go into, and which is surprising, taking in we've already gotten comments asking us
to do a
relay fight, which is what we're leading into right now.
I disagree. I don't think it's the future of Team League. I think it's the future of Captain Side event.
I think it's the future of Team League because it's been hugely. It is the next step that they promoted in the anime. Is which usually I don't use. Except the anime is an indication of what Bushiroad has in mind. They've done Team Fight. That's how they introduced Team Fight was to the anime, and then it was the game. And now they've progressively moved where Team Tri-3, or whatever they're called, is playing Team Asteroid, or Team Ren, essentially, in Relay Fight. So, because Relay Fight is the only way that 3 men can beat Ren.
Let's be real here. Not wrong.
So, going into the rules, which, sit down, because it's going to take a while for me to explain.
I'm just going to sit here and whistle while he figures it out.
So first things first, you want to get three of your dudes. Well, 2 of your dudes. You and yourself and 2 of your dudes. Each of you are going to be playing a different clan because that's probably how the game's going to be played, and it recommends that way. Stop whistling. So, me, Ryan, and Braxton are on a team.
But you also have a 4th person.
No, you don't.
You don't?
No, it's 3. It's 3 dudes.
Totally thought it was more than that.
No, it's 3 dudes.
3 dudes?
3 dudes.
Okay, it's 3 dudes.
3v3.
Alright.
So it's me. It's me playing Saint Guard. Ryan playing Kagero.
Landmines too.
And Braxton playing Shadows at the end. So, I'm playing against Nate. Nate's playing Shadows. I'm playing Regal. We do the thing. We play normal Vanguard. He's playing 12 crit with Shadows. He swings at me. And crits me I'm at 4. He double crits me. Rip the dream. But in Relay Fight, here's how it works. I am at 4. I go to 5. I immediately die. I don't take any additional damage. His crits mean nothing to me. And what I do is his turn immediately ends. His end phase skills go off if he has any. Then I am dead. I pick up my unused, my face down G zone. I pick up my deck, and I take account of how many cards were in my hand when I died. Everything else stays on the field. So my board, whatever units I had, stay on the field. My drop zone stays on the field. My flipped G zone stays on the field. Mm-hmm. I turn to Ryan. I say, Ryan, I had 8 cards in hand. Ryan steps up. He shuffles his deck. He puts his deck there. He puts his face down G zone. My board's there. His dude's there. My drop zone's there. And the turn starts with him now because the turn ended with his opponent once I died. He draws the 8 cards that I had to equally remove them in 3 additional cards.
Turn it up to 11.
He turns it up to 11.
Is Spinal Tap.
So he draws 11 cards, and now he starts. Now it's important to realize that now all he has to do is ride a grade 3, and he can abuse any card in his strike deck. He can go into the ace. He can go into whatever he needs to.
Oh yes.
And now he explodes against his opponent. His opponent dies. His second player comes in, continuing. Now, once Ryan hits 8 damage, so 5 to 8, once he hits 8 damage, Ryan's dead. Process begins anew. He takes his unused strike deck, his deck, counts how many cards are in his hand.
Take me away.
He dies. Braxton comes in. Braxton puts his deck, his G-Zone, shuffles, draws as many cards as Ryan had in his hand, plus 3 additional. And now he plays to 11 damage. And that's when the game ends. If Brax goes to 11 damage, the game is over, we lose. But now he can abuse all his G-Zone, and assuming he has a green and ride, do all the things he needs to do. And he can abuse the Soul. He can Legion, but if he Legions any of our cards, they go back into our decks.
They essentially evaporate from the game state.
Exactly. Also, he can use any card with Lord in its name, and Lord is nullified.
That's important.
That is very important. Now, you're probably wondering, how do we feel about Relay Fight? That's Relay Fight in a nutshell.
It could be fun.
I think it is I'm the bold one. I'm the extremist here. I think this is the future of Team League. I think this is a great step in the game in general because it takes Vanguard, which is, albeit
somewhat of a stagnating game.
Stagnating and simplistic, and adds a third dimension to it. It's honestly the way Team League honestly probably should have been, in the sense that Team League now is, I get 2 of my dudes and I hope they're not bad at the game, and that they have good decks, and that we somehow grind our way there. But at the end of the day, I can only perform as best as I can. I can't help you. You do your thing, I do my thing, and we hope we both do our thing. Mm-hmm. But in Relay Fight, I compared it to League of Legends or other MOBAs in a certain way, whereas now, my job, my role, might not necessarily be to crush my opponent. It might just be to fulfill my role. And you might be thinking, Jose, why wouldn't you just want to win? I'll give you a little example here. So, new team. I play Vanguard. Jorge, she's not Ryan. Jorge plays Angel Feather / OTT, and Ryan ends with Glendios. My role is to put my opponent at 5 damage as fast as humanly possible. My job is to kill the first opponent. I put him at 5. After that, my job is to get as many cards in his hand as possible and die. OTT player is to not win, but to draw as many cards as humanly possible. Or if he's playing Angel Feathers, his job is to get as many cards in hand as possible while unflipping as many cards as possible. And so the Anchor, the Shadow Paladin player's job is now, or Glendios player, is now, his job is to draw as many cards as humanly possible and use those cards to call 5 reverse units, will stride into Omega Glendios, call 5 reverse units, and win the game. That's his job.
That could definitely work.
And now, only one of our players on this team's role was to actually beat his opponent. The other two had two completely different roles.
It's a much more, like you said, three-dimensional model of Vanguard, where you can really use each deck to its strength. Whereas, Magus or Tsukiyomi may not be the strongest deck in the format, but boy, can they, do what they do very well. Draw a lot of cards, sit there, durdle for a little while their opponent goes through, his motions and whatnot. And there's always an option, a very existential option, to just, oh, I fulfilled my role, I'll just die now and pass it off to the next guy.
Precisely.
I have 20 cards in hand. Yeah, I'll take that damage. Sure, why not? Oh, do you really want to keep this going? Because my next guy will come at you with 23 cards. Oh, you don't? Oh, okay, well, I'll just take another turn anyway and draw more cards, that way. What's your option?
Exactly. It adds more dimensions to Vanguard and more strategy than the game the Vanguard has naturally. And I think that's what makes it great. It adds roles into a game and brings decks that are naturally outside of the meta, such as Angel Feathers, maybe Bugs, Great Nature, Neo Nectar. Adds decks that aren't in the meta and puts them into a role position and gives them a reason to exist, in all honesty. And I think that's what I like about it. And I hope that I don't know how you feel about Relay Fight.
I think it's got a ways to go. I'm not sure it'll replace the tournament format as of yet, but like I said, I think it'll be captain side event.
Dude, I will go 0-2 and rule the Relay Fight bracket with an iron fist. Not really. I'm going for the win. But that's our thoughts on Relay Fight. Oh, more importantly, will you see us do a Relay Fight on the channel?
Most likely.
Yes. I'm here to veto Ryan's most likely and tell you.
Whoa, hey.
Yes. I've already talked to Nate. We're just working out. A lot of people ask us why we won't do another tag fight video. Filming a tag fight is complex and difficult and requires a lot of gymnastics. But a relay fight only requires a one-on-one board. So we're working on the filming details of that, and we'll bring you a relay fight as soon as we can. And as soon as we get two trios that we feel comfortable with making an entertaining relay fight. Also, it'll probably be a 20 to 60 minute video.
That'll be a long fight.
Exactly, because we're talking basically 3 fights condensed into one. Might be a 2-part video. Can Ryan overcome the Kagero train? Find out next time on Relay Fight Z.
What is this Ryan overcoming anything in Kagero? I don't think you understand who I am.
You're the All-Bringer, the Doom Bringer.
That is correct.
The Mega Bringer.
Stop adding things to the word bringer. It's not working.
The Cell Bringer.
No, maybe.
The Omega Bringer. That's not bad.
You stop that.
I'm going to keep adding bringers.
If it's not printed on a Vanguard card,
I don't care what's printed! Alright. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed this damage check. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Send us a comment. Let us know what you think about Relay Fight. Let us know what you think about the spoilers. Let us know what you think in general. Like I said,
if you want to see a Relay Fight in Texas live,
exactly.
Check out our GoFundMe.
That's right. Go check out our GoFundMe.
We're not asking you for money. This is for you.
Check out our GoFundMe. If you like us, like what we're doing, please feel free to give us a few bucks along our way. And don't forget to check out our Facebook, our Twitter, everything in the like, our Twitch, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And we'll see you here next time with Team Absolution. This is the Doombringer Griffin and the Captain signing off. Peace.